So obviously Black Myth Wukong, an RPG from a Chinese developer over in Shenzhen, China, has taken the gaming world by storm. But for those of you guys on PS5, it's not being as rosy. There's been a lot of performance issues, especially with performance mode. Frames and inputs are just a little bit laggy. We're going to talk about it in this video and talk about the article from Push Square. Let's get into it. I'm Blazed. Okay, hit the like, subscribe, click the bell icon. Let's go. So, Black Myth Wukong is eating your inputs on PS5, and it's a problem with performance mode, and we'll talk about it just after this. If you want to support everything I do on YouTube, whether you do, whether you don't, it's okay. If you don't, hit the like, hit the subscribe, that helps a lot. It doesn't cost anything. But if you want to support more and get your name in every single video and every single live stream and help us do so many things, I know I'm just a drop in ocean in the gaming YouTuber landscape, but you know, it'd be cool if you could hang with me every so often. So anyways, let's get into it. Click join if you want to become a member. Anyhow, so yeah, Black Myth Wukong on the PS5 has encountered a lot of issues, several performance issues, particularly with its performance mode. According to discussions and reports, including from sources like Push Square, the game's performance mode, which aims for 60 frames a second, utilizes something called frame generation technology, which is a sort of new technology out there. It helps anticipate what's going to be on the screen next and tries to improve performance, especially on lower end hardware, right? It's another miracle that AMD has cooked up to help us squeeze as much performance as we can out of lower end hardware, like things like the Steam Deck and now essentially the PS5, since the PS5 is getting older. However, this has led to like significant input lag, and I believe that's one of the issues with frame generation technology, where player inputs do not register as quickly as they should, making the gameplay feel less responsive. This issue arises because despite the visual output suggests that it's running at 60 FPS, the game might be running at a lower frame rate, with frame generation filling the gaps, resulting in a mismatch between visual feedback and player control. And additionally, there's been mentions of frame rate drops, visual artifacts, and other graphical hiccups across its different graphics modes, suggesting that while the game aims for high performance and visual fidelity, it currently struggles to maintain a consistent and smooth gameplay experience on the PS5. Now, I knew this was going to be an issue with frame generation technology. It's still a relatively new technology, and obviously the PS5's AMD APU is getting on in age. It is getting older. It's maybe not as good at using this tech as the newer APUs that are coming out. But yeah, a lot of people aren't happy. So let's take a look at the article on Push Square. So Black Myth Wukong is eating your inputs on PS5. What even is a frame? Earlier this week reported the PS5 version of Black Myth Wukong and how it seems to hold up from a technical perspective. Our impressions were based on roughly 6 hours of playtime, and our main takeaway was that while none of the game's 3 graphical modes are perfect, the performance mode in particular seemed fairly solid, offering a gameplay at 60 frames per second or near enough in exchange for a lower resolution. As it turns out though, Digital Foundry has identified an additional performance mode problem that we've never quite picked up on. According to their analysis, Wukong actually makes use of frame generation tech in order to close in on its 60 FPS target. Basically, frame gen does exactly what the name suggests. It artificially provides more frames per second to give the impression of a smoother visual experience. Now, just think of cloud streaming. One of the biggest issues I have, and I'm really sensitive to, is cloud streaming. And what happens in cloud streaming is obviously it takes time for you to connect to the cloud streaming servers, for the game servers to obviously generate the game and run the game and then shoot that video feed back to you with the least amount of compression, least amount of input lag as possible. You still get input lag, and it drives me nuts. It makes playing FPS games or racing games that require fast inputs just virtually unplayable for me, or at least mildly annoying, right? So this is what we're going to have to deal with on local hardware now. This is one of the reasons why I've championed consoles in PC gaming and handheld gaming, even at lower resolutions, even if the game looks really bad and at lower frame rates, over cloud streaming, because of input lag. It just ruins the experience for me. But because of frame generation is becoming a thing, because they're trying to squeeze every little bit of performance out of every bit of hardware now. PS5 is getting older. Maybe this is a reason why the PS5 Pro should come out this year. So we can get games, play them at normal frame rate, 60 FPS, 120 FPS, without having to compromise and use little tricks of the mind and tricks of the eye to squeeze more frames than what's technically possible out of the game. maybe we need to get better hardware. Maybe we all need to buy new consoles and newer PCs, and maybe that's an issue. Maybe that's the problem. But back to the article. However, in Wukong's case, the frame generation results in increased input lag. Essentially, you're playing the game at around 30 FPS. It's just that the frame generation makes it look like you're sitting at 60 FPS. Inevitably, this means that you'll run into moments where you'll swear that you press the dodge button or hit L1 to take a sip of your health restoring drink, but the input simply doesn't register. That would drive me insane. No. Needless to say that this is far from ideal for a title that's so heavily focused on action combat. For the record, we started to notice some kind of input lag while venturing further into the game for review purposes, but we were putting it down to the protagonist's long attack and recovery animations. Digital Foundry's findings make much more sense in this situation. Admit it. A lot of these review sites, they don't touch on little issues, glaring issues like these, because they're in such a rush to get the review out and to get the gameplay out, to get the clicks and to get the money from the advertisements. They don't want to talk about glaring issues like this, and they don't care enough to be nitpicky about the game because it will delay the review process. So I'm not surprised they didn't really pick up on it. Thanks to Digital Foundry for picking up on it. They always come through when it comes to performance of games. They really dive deep and nitty-gritty into the game performance issues. Fortunately, Digital Foundry believes that Wukong's PS5 performance can be improved, so developer Game Science will hopefully grace us with a patch or two in the near future. Let's go. So let me know if you've experienced any issues with frame generation. Let me know if you know what frame generation is, if it's something you're aware of. A lot of us in the Steam Deck community are obviously aware of it. It's technology that's new to AMD, that's still in its early phases, that's helping us get double the frame rate potentially. Running in game at 30 but having it feel like 60, but as a result, as a side effect of that, delayed input lag, which could drive you mad. So hopefully it's something they can improve on. But anyways, let me know if you've experienced it. Let me know if you felt the inputs are a little bit off in Black Myth Wukong, and let me know in the comments. So anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Let me know if you've got Black Myth Wukong, and if you want to support the channel and support me doing live streams, members movie night, members mukbangs, all sorts of crazy stuff, and getting your name in every single video, I'd really appreciate it. Click join down below. Don't feel obligated. You don't have to if you can't or don't want to. Just click like, subscribe, click the bell icon, either way. Anyways, guys, I love you. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.